Yo, what's up, guys? What's going on? Monday morning, guys. Monday morning. You know, it's my favorite day of the week. Rob loves his Mondays. What's happening, guys? How's everybody feeling? A lot of emotions out there today. A lot of people in their feels when they should be putting their portfolios away, right? Let's get into the chat a little bit here, guys. We got some stuff to go over here first, and we'll hop into the chat. So, what do I think is going to happen with Bitcoin now, guys? When Bitcoin, let's go have a look over at the trading view chart. Okay, let's go have a look at trading view here. All right, so when we were above the 50 week, most of you guys remember up here, right in this time frame here, I was telling everybody, I told you guys, I said it 100 times. I said it like 4 times a day in every live stream, every video for like 2 or 3 weeks. I said, if we lose the 50 week, traditionally, we end up going down into a bear market on the weekly time frame. I said that a million times, right? So in saying that, we lost it, and here we are, right? So what do I think is going to happen next? Well, to be honest with you, I do think we're going to see a bit of a rally, like I've talked about, to put in this right shoulder. I do think that that's probably going to happen, right? As you can see, we've had a trend line here going up. We've lost our trend line as well. We back tested it as resistance, and now we're continuing downwards, right? As you can see. And this is the weekly time frame, by the way, for Bitcoin. So here we go. We're going down, right? Now, what do I think is going to happen next? I think we're going to see that relief rally because crypto as a whole, both Bitcoin and altcoins, are very, very oversold right now. So I do think we're going to see that relief rally to put in the right shoulder. And then likely we do generally come down here to the 200-week moving average right here. It's currently sitting at $56,000. It continues to work its way up every week. It was at 55 something last week. It's up a little bit higher. As long as Bitcoin is above it, it pulls it upwards, right? So I do believe we're going to come down to the 200-week moving average, which we do every single time, which is really, guys, we're already halfway there, right? Now, if we go back in time, like I've done in the past, and we look at the 200-week, let's change the color of the 200-week because, see if I can change the color of it. No, I can't. I don't think I can. I don't think I can change the color of it. Anyway. Settings, maybe? Yeah, I can change the color of it. Okay, let's change the color. Let's make it yellow, okay? So there you go. It's yellow, so then now it can be seen. So we've dropped below it a couple of times. We dropped below it right in this range here. This was in 2023. We briefly dropped below it for maybe two and a half months. And then look what happened afterwards. Boom, we skyrocketed, right? We're above it. We dropped below it right here. Now, this was the bottom of the bear market of 2022, right? So how long did we stay there? Let's have a look. We stayed below it for 39 weeks, okay? 39 weeks there, and then we went up. So we dropped just below it, as you can see. We don't catch it as support, but we do generally hold it just below it, right? And then as we go backwards, same thing. We did catch it as support during the COVID dump right here. And then, yeah, we rode the bottom of it here in the 2017 or 2019 bear market after the 2017 cycle. So here we are again, likely going to come down to the 200-week. Once again, we'll probably come just below it. So let's say that it's around 57, 58, maybe in 59K by the time Bitcoin gets to it. That would probably have Bitcoin bottoming somewhere around 53 to 55K, something like that. So it's not that much further to go, to be honest with you. If that's what happens, okay? Now, I also want to preface something here, guys. I just showed you guys that that's what happens historically, right? However, I would also say to you that with everybody saying that this time is different to the upside, well, then it also has to be different to the downside, right? So, theoretically, if this time is different, well, then maybe we don't come all the way down to the 200 week, since we never had a true blow off top for alts and stuff like that, right? So basically the point I'm getting across is that if in fact this time is different, well, then it has to be different on both sides of the coin, not just one, right? So I'm personally not of the mindset that we're going to be in some sort of extended bear market. I don't think that's the case. I do think it's going to be a few months of red, downward, sideways, boring, crappy action. And a lot of people, and I said this many, many times to you guys, not everybody's going to make it. Not everybody's going to make it. And when I say that in the past, people are like, oh yeah, but I'll make it. A lot of those people have been shaken out already. They've lost their tempers. They've blown their gaskets. They've blamed me. They've blamed other people. They freak out. They call it a scam. Those are the same people that will come buying back in at green candles, right? So, and I say it again right now. We have to come down most likely to the 200 week. That's a good chance that that's going to happen. Not everybody's going to survive it. Not everybody's going to make it. People will lose their perspective. They'll lose their gaskets. They'll allow emotions to overwhelm them instead of taking advantage of the opportunity. So what is Rob going to be doing? That's the big question. What am I going to be doing? Well, as you guys know, what I'm doing, I've stated it many times over on the Patreon, what I'm buying right now, if I'm buying right now. And my plan is really quite simple. I'm waiting for our bottom confirmations before I start to get very, very aggressive. And I'm going to be also accumulating a lot of stable coin in the meantime, right? That way, when the time comes and we've got confirmation of a bottom, I'm going to have a nice big stack of dry powder that I can start deploying at the bottoms to start lowering my cost averages significantly, right? So that's the bold strategy that I'm employing. What do we got here? Chris, my guy, have you heard of Zebek on Poispic Visit? Says Max or Rue will join you, or Cadre? I don't know what that is, man. Chris, you're gonna have to give me a little bit more detail about what that is you're talking about. Zebek on Poispic Visit? I don't know what. I need more, brother. I need more. Give me more. Give me some info. Wow, that's the only super chat. Let's get into the chat. I had Gary Daly. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. You're gonna love these nuts, right? You're gonna love my nuts. Oh, House, I'm tired, brother. Can't wait to see those monster green candles one day. Hey, man, it's gonna come and you're gonna love it, man. It's like the longer you wait, the greater it's gonna feel, man. Chris, hey Rob, I clicked on the video and gave it a thumbs up. It's the right thing to do. Chris, I like the cut of your jib, my friend. I like the cut of your jib. Thank you so much, brother. I always do that too. Whenever I go watch a YouTube video, I don't even care who it is. I don't care what it is. The first thing I do is I hit the like button. I don't even care even if I don't like what they're talking about, I'm doing it to support somebody. It's a like. It costs me nothing. That's what I do. I go into a video, bam, hit the like button, and I continue watching the video, right? That's just me being a good person, I suppose. I don't know. John, it's definitely a bear market. Super fantastic. Smash the like button. There you go, man. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. What do we have? We got 132 people watching. We have 53 likes. Not bad, not bad. Let's get to 100, guys. Let's get it to 100. Paul, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Carlos says, come on, Rob, send me the link to where we got your crystal ball. Well, if I did that, you wouldn't need me anymore, brother. Adam, you're gonna have to ask me that over in the trading tier over on the Patreon. But I'll just be honest with you, man. Right now, today, not a good day to be putting in longs, in my opinion. Kiz, what's up, man? Stronghold and Zebek to rocket. Not sure when, but someday. 100% agree with that. It is an inevitability. Another local, what's going on? Thanks for another Blockchain Buzz episode banger. I'm so looking forward to the horror film. Yes, we got big things happening, guys. I'm so excited for the future of the channel. BTC walked out of the house, seen a bear, and is running back home to 65K. Been blowing leaves on the same property for 4 weeks. I want to get them done so bad I was late. I know. 50 push-ups, brother. I guess I wasn't late. You're late. Too late. Gotta do 50 push-ups anyway, brother. Daddy, what it do? Nick, I just staked another 1 million ZMEC, so I'm max at 5 million. I think we have a couple months before we erupt. There you go, man. Get that passive income going. I like it. I dig it, man. Feeling jack stacked to fanny pack. Let's go, baby. Lots of negativity at the moment. Getting annoyed by it. Not gonna lie. It doesn't bother me. I'm refreshed. I just ignore it. I stay out of the chats and I stay out of the comment section. So whenever someone says something derogatory towards me in the comment section, I don't even read it. So you're just talking to yourself, right? Yo. All I got is time. Time in the market. Timing the market. 100%. It's a me, Mario. Daddy's here. 50 push-ups. Let's go. What's up, man? Dave, what it is? Braveheart says, lie to me Monday, just like Johnny Lang said. Yep, Monday is a liar. It's a him, Mario. Nice. Overcome. What's happening, man? A lot of that going on the Patreon lately, and it's usually the same people every single time. Yeah, from now on, the mods, they'll just delete the negativity, they'll delete the comments and mute the person for 24 hours until they learn their lesson, right? Some people say, "Oh, it's a free. What about my freedom of speech?" Patreon's not the United States of America. I'm not the president. It's a private community. You do not have the right to FUD or spread fear or toxicity. You will be muted. You will be shut up. Right? Absolutely. I'm not leaving. There you go. Ditto. What's happening, man? Best chance for generational wealth is right here in front of us. I have no other option. Exactly. 100%. Ben, one-on-one call today. I know, brother. I know. I saw your DM this morning. I just saw the caption of it, but yes, we are on, brother. What did you do in Japan, Rob? You break the market. Yeah, I did. I convinced the Japanese government to crash the markets. Chris, translation, have you heard back from a possible visit to Zebek? No, I have not yet, but I'm going to continue to hound them. Like I said, I have ZBCN man. He does have an inn over there. Shout out to him. And he is trying to contact them to get them to come onto the channel there, or let me come down there for a documentary film. So I will continue to reach out to them until I get an answer. There's only one streamer I give a thumbs up, thumbs down to. Over the top, watching over on Rumble. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for supporting me on Rumble. Guys, make sure you are following us over on Rumble as well. Patience and perspective, family. Absolutely. Restful mind. What's happening? We got Mewtwo in the house. Like you have been nailing into our heads for as long as I've been here, almost a year. Patience. A long mindset is key. Yeah, that's exactly right. A long-term mindset is key. A lot of people think that, like, listen, I didn't get rich quick in crypto. I don't know if people have that impression of me, but it took me 2 cycles to change my life forever, to retire myself for the rest of my life. It took 2 full cycles, right? I did not just jump into crypto and then 6 months later I was a smashing success, retired, right? Didn't happen that way. All of the emotional roller coaster stuff that a lot of you guys are going through right now, the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, the euphoria, all of it. I went through all of that stuff already, guys, right? So I know exactly what everyone's going through. And that's why I tell you guys constantly, only the people who are strongest will survive this market. The other people, I know that they think that, like, they start to convince themselves, they get inside their own heads and they start to convince themselves that, you know, they're only saying what they see and they're only speaking the truth. They're emotional. Their emotions have completely taken over and they don't even know it, right? They're getting mad at me. They're getting mad at other YouTubers. They're getting mad at the market. And that in itself shows that they're not here for the long haul. They're not in crypto to make true wealth. They're here to take a shortcut and try to get rich in a week, right? Because as soon as the market doesn't do what they want it to do when they want it to do it, they lose their tempers, right? And then they start saying, like I said, catchphrases like, I'm only speaking the truth, right? It's the slogan of the emotional investor. What a great lunch dinner. Let's go. Listening while working in the fiat prison. Hey, one day we will get you out of there, Strawberry Dragon. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's get into the news, guys. Let's see what's going on out there today. We are all caught up in the chat, so let's get into some of the news. All right, so from never selling to potential BTC liquidation, is Saylor's core narrative under threat? Michael Saylor is facing mounting criticism from market commentators, gold advocate Peter Schiff, and prominent crypto analysts after Strategy disclosed the creation of a $1.44 billion US dollar reserve and signaled that it may sell Bitcoin under certain market conditions. The shift has sparked renewed allegations of hypocrisy and questions over Strategy's long-term solvency and capital strategy. I gotta say, honestly, guys, the accusation of hypocrisy after Michael Saylor for Strategy and Michael Saylor potentially selling some Bitcoin is so stupid. Like, at the end of the day, who cares if someone calls you? If I am Michael Saylor, okay, if I'm running this company, my responsibility is to the company, right? So did I go on X and say never sell your Bitcoin and stuff like that? Yeah, of course. He's jumping into the mix with everybody else who loves Bitcoin, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So for people like Peter Schiff to call Michael Saylor a hypocrite if he sells any of his Bitcoin, screw you. I don't care. Call me a hypocrite if I'm Michael Saylor. I'm like, dude, I'm in this to run a business and I'm here to make money. I'm not here to worry about whether Peter Schiff calls me a hypocrite. Take your opinion, turn that sumbitch sideways, shine it up real nice, and stick it up your Rudy poo, right? That's what I would be telling him. Jake the Snake, I'm late. I have no idea what's going on, and I need a loan from Andy's. Ray, what's happening, man? Just trying to get my cost average down. There you go, brother. Smash the like button. Yes. Sell before it drops back at a low. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. Not financial advice from because he carried the cross. There you go. Let's continue on here, guys. The criticism accelerated after prediction platform Polymarket showed the probability of Strategy selling Bitcoin before June 30th, 2026 rising to 30%. The odds spiked following remarks from CEO Fong Li, who said the company would consider selling Bitcoin if its market net asset value, or the MNAV, fell below 1, and it could no longer raise capital, an acknowledgement that contradicts years of messaging around never liquidating the firm's Bitcoin treasury. Very, very interesting. T-shirts right, the T-shirts right there. Stick it up your Rudy poo. There you go. It is crazy how people blame you or others for their own choices. Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I think a lot of people are confused between, getting guidance in the markets and getting 100% guarantees in the market. And that's what some people think that they're getting in crypto, whether it's on YouTube or otherwise. They don't understand that there is no guarantees on anything, right? But that's what they want. They want a guarantee. And you could tell them till you're blue in the face that they're not going to get a guarantee from anyone. They still just will look for a guarantee, right? Guys, I've been saying that Strategy and Michael Saylor will sell Bitcoin at some point. I've been saying that for a couple of years now, right? In fact, I believe our first episode ever of Blockchain Buzz, Bleaves and I were talking about it, and we both said that, at some point, the cost average of Strategy is like $74,000 per Bitcoin. And what happens if Bitcoin drops below Strategy's cost average? Do they think that shareholders are just going to be cool with holding Bitcoin at a loss for who knows how much time, right? So, exactly. Of course, they're going to take profits like everybody else, right? That's Bitcoin maxis, guys. Bitcoin maxis. They pounded that into people's heads saying, oh, Michael Saylor and Strategy, they never are going to sell. They're never going to have to sell, and it's never going to happen and stuff. Of course they're going to have to sell, and of course they're going to want to take profits. I've been saying for the longest, the same thing with ETF holders, big money, right? Same thing Bitcoin maxis were saying about ETF holders, spot Bitcoin ETF holders. Oh, they're never going to sell because, that's Bitcoin's the thing. Well, they're just going to be exit liquidity for retail. They're just not going to take profits ever. Come on, man, right? So, yeah. What else do we have here? Chris, sorry, the soul check and bad. I'm having trouble reading what you're saying, Chris. Are you texting from your phone or are you drunk? I'm just messing with you, buddy. Let me try to make sense of this. Chance of Max and Rue joining you on your visit. Oh, to Zebek. Yeah, of course there's a chance. Of course. I invited Max to come with me to Japan, and he was going to come with me, but something came up for him and he couldn't make it. So absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Only guarantee is no guarantee. Exactly. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. You could get Bleaves back on, and BB, he's grown on me. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely have Bleaves back on again. Yeah. Do you have crypto tipping enabled for Rumble? I only see the option for a card link. I cannot enable the crypto tipping until I believe I have 100 followers over on Rumble. That's why you guys got to start following me over on Rumble. No, I do not yet. Andy, my guy. Hey, Rob, roughly, is it still up to 2 months before the rally to the second shoulder placement? Yeah, roughly that, because it's the weekly time frame we're looking at, right? So yeah. I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. Nice. So here's the thing, guys. My question is, Peter Schiff. Now, we talked about this on the latest episode of Blockchain Buzz. Should Peter Schiff be held legally accountable for putting in a short on Strategy and then going out and publicly announcing that Strategy was going to go bankrupt? So he tried to crash the stock of Strategy by using his influence. Should he be held legally accountable for attempted market manipulation? In my opinion, the answer is yes, right? You cannot. He knows his voice holds weight in the finance world. He's very well aware of that. And he put in a short on a stock, and then he went and attempted to publicly crash that stock. That's attempted market manipulation, in my opinion, right? I think Peter Schiff should be legally liable for what he tried to do, what he's still trying to do. He needs to be arrested for it. Because if you or I did something like that and we had that kind of voice, guess what? We'd be in prison, right? Japan proposes 20% flat tax on cryptocurrency gains. Japan has introduced a significant proposal regarding cryptocurrency taxation, aiming to set a flat 20% tax on crypto gains. This comes as a considerable shift from the existing progressive tax system, which currently peaks at 55%. This tax reform, supported by the ruling coalition, is expected to be implemented by 2026. The Japanese government, along with the the FSA, is spearheading this change. This proposed overhaul aligns with Japan's previous efforts to regulate cryptocurrency markets by classifying crypto assets as financial products under the Financial Instrument and Exchange Act, or the FIEA. According to multiple credible sources, this move is set to enhance market clarity and foster growth. The reform tax system would move crypto gains into a separate taxation framework. This comprises a 20% rate divided between national and regional governments at 15% and 5% respectively. This helps to align crypto asset taxation with equities and investment trusts, improving integration with the traditional financial markets. Additionally, mandatory disclosure obligations and insider trading prohibited will be proposed. Of course, insider trading needs to be, held at bay, obviously, right? I'll tell you right now, guys, just one more reason that if I was a bachelor, I would be moving to Japan after my visit there, and them lowering the taxation of cryptocurrencies. I would definitely live in Japan, 100%. Yes, he is, Strawberry Dragon. Everyone is adopting a lowered capital gains tax or none while the U.S. is jerking around the subject. Yes, I agree with you. I heard there was a new bill introduced recently to address the issue. Yeah, I don't know how Trump expects the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world when everybody else is making either cutting taxes on capital gains or in crypto or cutting them to zero altogether. You have places like El Salvador, the Philippines, Japan, Dubai, right? All becoming tax-friendly havens for crypto investors, while the U.S. is just talking about it, right? Did you see the news about Coinbase giving out 12K to USD to New York to 160? Kind of hope I win that. Oh, I never heard about that, man. That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet, man. I dig it. I'm moving to New York. Former Cleveland Fed Pres Mester on the next Fed chair. We need a thoughtful leader.
Trump says he's made his choice on the next Fed chair to replace Jay Powell, but he isn't making the name public just yet. Joining us now, former Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester. She's also a CNBC contributor. I guess you don't. You probably don't want to tell us who you'd like, Loretta, but what type of person would you like to be the next head?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Hope you had a good holiday.
Yes,
I mean,
too.
we need somebody who's going to be a thoughtful leader who can actually corral the committee into thinking about the economy, thinking about what the best path for policy is to achieve the dual mandate goals, put aside all other kind of considerations that are not part of that decision making about what's the best path for policy to meet those goals. Everything else should be outside of the room. Everything should be about the best analysis, the best modeling, the best forecasting you can bring to bear, and then making a decision and then communicating that in a clear way to the public. And I think those are the things that I would like in the next Fed chair. And certainly many people on the list that we've heard about of being under consideration have those attributes. So I think that's what I would like to see.
Loretta, we've seen Fed critics and some of the flamethrowers that follow monetary policy clamoring for reform of the Federal Reserve and really critical of it. But that's even gone a little bit mainstream. And some of the leading candidates have been very vocal about things. I'm thinking about Kevin Warsh and others about reforming the Fed. Do you agree with that? Are there things that need to be done? Have mistakes have been made in terms of the way that Jay Powell conducted, or even his predecessors conducted business at the Fed?
I think there definitely are things to think about in terms of what can we do to improve the performance of monetary policy making. And certainly, the last several years has been very challenging. So I wouldn't criticize the Fed necessarily for not focusing on the goals, but there's always things that you can improve. For example, thinking about scenarios and not putting all your eggs in one particular basket. Thinking about how to use, the knowledge we have about supply side economics and bringing that to bear in the considerations and deliberations of the committee. So there's lots of things that I think are worth thinking about. And the case study of the high inflation, I was on the committee at the time, so I can say we made a mistake in allowing inflation to continue as long as it did above our goal. And so we should have acted sooner, and thinking about, well, what prevented us from actually making a change in policy sooner rather than later. Thinking through that, I think that would be very valuable. I think what I take issue with some of the criticism of the Fed is I don't necessarily think that it's being done in good faith. I can say there are things that we should improve and the Fed should be working on, and I mean it to make the institution stronger. I think some criticizing the Fed are doing it to make the institution weaker, and that's where I would take issue.
I mean, there are some, Retta, that actually think the whole notion of making credit more difficult for businesses and small businesses to obtain because rates are too high, actually, that doesn't work necessarily to tame inflation, and is actually counterproductive to what the goal of, I guess those are the supply side issues, I think, that you just alluded to.
I mean, you tell me what your model of the economy is, and then I can tell you whether you're making a sensible argument or they're making a sensible argument. Now, I think there's too much just discretionary. I think, we should lower rates without thinking about, okay, well, what are the implications of that for price setting behavior? Right? You want a Federal Reserve that's not necessarily doing what's expeditious in the moment. You want a Federal Reserve that's thinking about, okay, what are the implications? If I lower rates too much, am I going to create an inflation problem that won't be helpful to those small businesses that may benefit today from getting cheaper credit? Right. But then,
does she really think that that's not being taken into consideration? Like, come on.
We'll have to contend with high prices that continue to rise. And that's the trade-off that the Fed has to be making every time it makes a decision on policy.
How about a Fed chair that basically telegraphs every waking thought? Every week we know exactly what the latest feeling is. Instead of, there are some that think there's way too much transparency, and that just sets you up for failure when you try to predict things that are unpredictable.
Well, I think there is a framework that the Fed should be putting out about how it's thinking about the economy right now. Unfortunately, we don't have that framework. So it should never be that we don't know how the Fed would react if the data comes in a particular way and supports a particular view of the outlook. We should know how the Fed's likely to react. And I think that's where we've kind of gotten a little bit off track. We don't really know when the data comes in how the Fed is most likely to react to those data. The Fed's not prescient, you're not prescient, I'm not prescient. The economy can evolve in a way that we can't predict today. But once it evolves, we should know how policy is likely to react to that change in the outlook. And I think that's where we don't have very good transparency about that. The Fed's so-called reaction function, that's where I'd like more communication and better, more clear communication about what the Fed's thinking in terms of its policy setting.
I think she's either naive or being intellectually dishonest if she truly thinks that the Fed, whoever is in charge, is not taking all factors into consideration. We're talking about the Federal Reserve here. We're not talking about the clubhouse, right? Come on. Dear U.S. government, crypto tax freak in Thailand now through 2029. Many of your citizens are considering white sand beaches and pad thai every day. Yes, exactly. Fudders act like they're getting paid to poo on their own assets. Yeah, that's the thing. People don't understand, right? People think that they're just like venting online, not even realizing that they're fudding projects that they're holding. It's unbelievably ignorant, right? If you're holding, let's say, Jasmy, and you go on X and you start fudding Jasmy because you're frustrated, what do you think new people who are considering investing in Jasmy think when they see your comments? Well, this guy holds it and he doesn't like it, so I'm not buying it. You just stopped capital from flowing into a project that you hold that you want to pump. And people think, well, I'm just one person, right? That doesn't affect the masses. Well, millions of people are doing it, right? And look what happens. A lot of times I see that a project is like down a whole bunch on the day. It's like crashing on the day. It's down like 20% or something. A lot of times I'll go on Grok or something and I'll look up, what is the FUD around this project? Why is it down? Why is it crashing? I'll look it up. And 9 times out of 10, the only FUD revolving around the project is the community FUDding their own coin. People complaining about the price action. Crashing their own project. Completely idiotic, right? Looks like Bitcoin wants to pump this hour. Does it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's trying. She's trying. 85.7, 85.8. She's trying to make a move. Why did Bitcoin's price drop? Here are 4 reasons why. The cryptocurrency market opened the final month of the year on a negative note. Bitcoin has fallen below $84,000 today, down nearly 32% from its all-time high of $126,200 in early October. Selling pressure has also been heavy on Ethereum, with the second largest cryptocurrency down 8% and trading around $2,700. The chart is significantly different from Bitcoin's typical year-end performance. Alex, senior market analyst at FX Pro, noted that over the past 14 months, Bitcoin has averaged a 29.7% increase in December. And that the current outlook constitutes a technically significant bear market formation. There are 4 main interconnected reasons behind the sell-off in the markets. Number 1, the stock crypto nexus and risk away cycle. In recent weeks, Bitcoin has been highly correlated to the US stocks. Top performing tech stocks, leveraged investors are being forced to sell both stocks and crypto assets as prices fall, compounding the selling pressure. This risk off cycle has not yet broken. The fear and greed index remains in extreme fear territory. Technology stocks were also weak on the first trading day of the week. Broadcom fell nearly 4%, while Nvidia struggled to recoup its losses during the day. Furthermore, uncertainty surrounding the Fed's interest rate outlook continues to dampen investment appetite. While the likelihood of a December rate cut is increasing, opinions remain divided on the extent of which interest rates can be lowered in 2026. Japanese carry yen trade concerns. Another factor shaking markets was a signal from the Bank of Japan about a potential interest rate hike. The Bank of Japan's official messages on Monday raised the possibility of unraveling year-old yen carry trade positions. Yen carry trades are the basis of strategy of borrowing money at low interest rates in Japan and moving it to higher yield markets like the US. The sudden unwinding of these positions has created significant volatility in the past, particularly in August of 2024, which triggered a sharp sell-off in global markets. I remember that. VALR CEO Farzam stated that the macroeconomic uncertainty in Japan has accelerated the risk aversion trend in the Asian markets, weakening liquidity and decreasing market depth. The loss of liquidity in crypto markets became evident towards the end of the year, following a massive liquidation wave in October. Investors remained cautious, and spot Bitcoin ETFs experienced $3.5 billion in outflows in November. Bitcoin's market depth, a gauge on how much large transactions can swing the price, fell to around 568.7 million last week, a significant drop from 766.4 million in the early October, according to the Kaiko data. Asani stated that the shrinking order books accelerated the price decline in the face of a new macro shock, adding selling pressure is felt much more strongly because the market does not have significant depth. And number 4, strategy, micro-strategy concerns and sales probability. MicroStrategy, one of the largest institutional buyers of Bitcoin, is in the news because of its MNAV. The ratio of the company's value to its Bitcoin holdings is approaching a critical threshold. While the MNAV hovered around 1.2 last week, company CEO Fong Li said that they may be forced to sell Bitcoin if the ratio falls below 1. I hope the MNAV doesn't fall below 1, but if it does, there will be no other source of capital. We will sell Bitcoin. That would be a complete last resort, he said, rekindling market sell-off rumors. According to Strategy's official statements, the company holds approximately 650,000 Bitcoin, roughly 3% of the total supply. However, Arkham Intel's latest analysis reveals 437,000 Bitcoin in the company's wallets, below the 484,000 estimated at the beginning of the month. This fueled market speculation that Strategy was selling. He stated the potential selling moves by Strategy could push prices down even further, saying that Bitcoin could fall as low as $60,000 if the bear market continues. Now, I do have a video coming out this afternoon talking about that very subject, guys, and you are not going to want to miss that video because there is a stark warning in that video. Let's keep it going here. Some of the content I watched during my research early this AM revolved around Japan's interest rate moves and have triggered algorithms to automatically sell Bitcoin. Yes, exactly. Swift or Jasmine, which one should I DCA into? Carlos, me personally right now, I'm not buying altcoins. I'm waiting for confirmation of a bottom. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think you can really go wrong with if you're flipping a coin between those two projects. It's a win-win. Her haircut sucks. Bearded in the house. What's up, buddy? All right, let's keep going. Republicans urge action on market structure bill over debanking claims. Republican lawmakers at the U.S. House Financial Services Committee and House Oversight Subcommittee have released a final report on what they call debanking of digital assets, claiming that the previous administration was responsible for cutting off access to financial services for some crypto companies and individuals. In a Monday notice, the House Financial Services Chair, French Hill, and the Oversight Committee Chair, Dan Moser, claimed that regulators under the administration of the former U.S. President Joe Biden used vague rules, excessive discretion, informal guidance, and aggressive enforcement actions to pressure banks away from servicing digital asset clients. Actions many Republicans have referred to as Operation Choke Point 2.0. The report concluded that legislative actions, among other measures, was necessary to provide clarity for the cryptocurrency industry. Hill and Musser said Congress must enact digital asset market structure legislation known as the Clarity Act and other bills targeting the cryptocurrency industry. Overall, the Clarity Act heads off a full operational choke point 3.0 by reversing the SEC's regulation by enforcement approach, enabling market participants to lawfully operate in the U.S. under clear rules of the road, and making clear that banks may engage in the digital asset ecosystem, said the report. Gary Gensler is punching his pillow somewhere. The Digital Asset Market Structure Bill, which was passed by lawmakers in the House of Representatives in July, is under consideration in the Republican-led Senate Agriculture Committee and the Senate Banking Committee, both of which have released their versions of draft legislation. Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott said in November that the committee planned to have the bill ready for signing into law by early 2026. Cointelegraph reached out to the House of Financial Services Committee, ranking member Maxine Waters, there's a good one, for comment on the report, but had not received a response. She was too busy blowing kisses at Sam Bankman-Fried through his prison cell door. Many individuals connected to the cryptocurrency industry or who hold digital assets have reported receiving letters from financial institutions saying that they would no longer be allowed to use their services. According to the report, at least 30 entities and individuals engaging in digital asset related activities were debanked by some fashion of U.S. regulators under the Biden administration. Among these measures, the report claimed that regulators enacted to debank crypto companies or individuals, including the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC, sending pause letters for financial institutions to encourage clients to sever ties to digital assets. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC, laying out additional red tape for digital asset related activities, and the SEC using regulation by enforcement tactics to target crypto companies. Since taking office in January, Donald Trump's administration has scaled back or removed regulations impacting the cryptocurrency industry. So in the short term, guys, people might be frustrated with Trump and blaming him for the market condition being what it is, which is fair. I think in the long term, in the big picture, going into the next couple cycles, I think that he did a lot of good here, right? Because what they're doing is not only are they removing the rails that have been put in place, the blockades that have been put in place by the Biden administration, but they're also placing regulations in, putting regulations in place and laws in place to prevent manipulation from a Fed chair, or sorry, not a Fed chair, a chair of the SEC, for example, like Gary Gensler. That kind of thing cannot happen again because they're putting laws in place to prevent it, right? So one of the primary reasons the Biden administration was able to do everything that they did to attack crypto was because technically there were no laws, so they weren't breaking any laws. But now that the Trump administration is putting guardrails in place against government aggressive tactics, it can no longer be the case, right? So in the long run, it will be good for the markets, in my opinion. So, all right, well, let's go over to the Bitcoin chart. She's trying to climb a little bit. She's trying. So yeah, like I said, guys, we still do have 2 CME gaps that need to be filled. I do think we'll fill them, but so in the short term, I think we will come up and fill them. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe we don't. But either way, like I said, I do think we're coming down to that 200-week moving average. So I told you guys, if we lost the 50-week, we're probably going down. I'm telling you now, we're probably going down to the 200-week. And yet, there will still be people 2 or 3 weeks from now telling me that I never told them that we were going down that far. Right? You can't write this stuff. Anyway, guys, I got to get over to the Patreon. I got some coaching calls to do over there. Get over there. Book your coaching calls today. It's 50% off right now over on the Patreon for new members. Signing up. Use the link in the chat. Use the code posted, guys. Get in where you fit in. Even if you want to just sit down and have a one-on-one chat with me, you need help, guidance in the market. You need portfolio structure assistance. You need to put a plan in place for when you should start DCAing and how to structure a bear market portfolio. We're going to start doing that soon, guys. So jump aboard, get over there now, learn how to do things properly from the beginning. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.